Kathianne Lewis, and it's time for your faith lift. And I'm going with the assumption that good information is worth hearing more than once, and for some of you, more than a lot of times. It's been said that somebody has to hear something 7 times before it really sinks in, before it's really kind of accepted within the soul and the makeup of a person. And then I heard that it actually takes 12 times now. And I think that's because we're being so bombarded with information that we hear a thing, we think it's a good idea, and then it's just gone. And then it's nowhere to be seen in our own consciousness anyway. I also heard, this was when I was studying public relations and I wanted to be in advertising. I heard that even a bad advertisement, something that really just bugs people, still gets into the mind, and then the person thinks of that company, even if it was a stupid ad, a stupid advertisement, it still works. So if you've heard this before, take it in at a deeper level. And that is, there is a good for you and you ought to have it. There's a good for you and you ought to have it. See, it is our duty to accept our greater good because we're part of the universe. And all of creation desires to be supported. There's a part of us that desires to be supported, but we can make up all these reasons why we can't be supported. We haven't done this, or this isn't right, or it didn't come in the way I wanted it to, or I need to work for this. We have all sorts of stuff that we set up in our own mind to shield us from greater good. A bunch of stinking thinking, huh? So to be saying to ourselves as often as possible, there's a good for me and I ought to have it. And if you think you've got a great life, then say there's an even greater good for me and I ought to have it. There's an even greater good for me and I ought to have it. And then just watch what happens. For instance, it might stir up stuff in you like, well, I've got enough and I don't want to take from anybody else. But the universe is not a pie. It can't be diced in so many ways that people lose out. The universe is infinite. God has an amazing ability to support all creation. The thing that keeps the universe from supporting all creation is human beings' idea that it can't support all creation. That's why some people hoard. Like, I'll take mine and I want to keep mine. Or there's some people that go without because, I will go without and I'll have my reward later in heaven. Heaven's here. Heaven's here. It's time to accept your greater good here, now. And just working with this, you'll find that opportunities become apparent. Just working with this, you'll notice that you'll have ideas that allow you to have a greater expression of life. And it's not just money. Good could be friendships, success, creativity, a home that you love, friends that you love to be surrounded by. There's always a way for that good to be expressed in form. When we accept it in the invisible, there's a greater good for me and I ought to have it. Now I just want to say a little bit about ought. I'd love for you to look it up because I think that will be powerful. But when I was looking it up, what ought means is it's an obligation. I'm obliged to accept my greater good. It's a duty. It's my duty to accept my greater good. It's a responsibility. It's my responsibility to accept my greater good. Isn't that beautiful? I'm obliged to accept what the universe gives me. Wow. That's something to work with, to say over and over again until it starts to sink in. See, I'm saying it, and some of you have heard me say it before, but when you start to say it and make it part of your daily practice, I love this day, and during this day there's a good for me and I ought to have it. And then you just accept. You don't say what the good is right now. That's another step. But just start to look at all the good that is here for you right now. I hope that helps. Bye for now.
I stand in the silence deafened by the echoes of the truth that flow from this knowing, a collection of the evidence and proof, to trust in creation as itself through me aligns, to know that my wanting more is selfishly divine. I am seeking my good, and my good is my God. I am seeking my good, and my good is my God. I church or a temple, on the ocean or a mountain kissed with snow. So many paths to God, for you are the only place to go. A being with no circumference, whose centers everywhere, who asks of us only to receive the gifts it's longing to share. I am seeking my good, and my good is my God. I am seeking my good, and my good is my God. I am diving from the cliffs of circumstance to swim in your great abundance. I will not fight the current, but be carried into joy. I know I am seeking my good, and my good is my God. I am seeking my good, and my good is my God. I am seeking my good, and my good is my God. It's what's leading me, pushing me, urging me on. I am seeking my source, and my God is my source. It's my joy and my voice and my life-giving force. I am seeking my God. I am seeking my God. I am seeking my good, and my good is my God. It's what's leading me, pushing me, urging me on. I am seeking my good, and my good is my God.